What's up? What's up?
How's it going?
Hear me okay?
Yep,
I think we're live, right?
I think we live, man.
I think so.
What's happening? Big Jeezy and P Dub.
Yeah, Big Jeezy actually he speaks French and he can't understand English, so I'm filling in for him. That's like my right hand man.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna tell us how he came out the womb and everything? Because that was like my first question. You know what I mean? Like, how did the whole thing happen? How was he birthed? C-section, natural. What's your name, man? What's your name?
My name is I am 3 AM. I'm a recording artist, singer, songwriter.
Cool. Well, all right, man. So we'll channel young Big Jeezy through you and ask you some questions and get to know you guys. What's up, P Dub? How's it going, man?
Not much.
Man, I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Appreciate you having us.
Yeah. This is the deal. Normally, there's a much more like prettier person hosting the deal. But our thoughts and prayers are with Tia. She is attending some family stuff, and we're definitely missing her right now because I'm definitely going to do a horrible job at this, but I'll try my best. Yeah, guys, this is cool. This is like one of the segments that we get to really like dive in to with our creators and talk about their role in this whole like writers and songwriters and production environment, especially when you're talking like publishing and what publishing means in your guys' careers, and like how you navigate through publishing, and how as a producer, aka writer, are entitled to these publishing royalties, and how everything you do online and everything that you do digitally does result in royalties for you guys to be collected from a legal standpoint. So it's really cool to have these like educational conversations, but also just get to know you guys. P Dub, I feel like we know you really well, and we're super excited always every time when you drop something new, and get to hear about what new instrumentation and strings and chord progression and like where you're going in the pop world and in the R&B world. It's always interesting to see where you go, because I could tell you're always pushing yourself. Tell us a little bit about your workflow process. Tell us a little bit about, how do you attack it? Like, when do you attack it? How do you attack it? What's the energy behind when you want to start attacking it? You know what I mean? Like,
sure. Yeah, no,
what's the driver?
It's crazy. It really depends on the day, where I am, different types of things like that. Like some days I might start with drums. I just have like a drum idea in my head and put it down, and then go to melodies after that. And sometimes it's just like, you have a melody in your head, you want to lay it down. Sometimes you're just feeding off of everyone else's energy if you're in a studio setting. It really depends, but I like a lot of different types of music. So that's why I like to switch up a lot of the genres I make. I'm R&B heavy, but I came up as a classical violinist. So that's where the string influence is, and played classical music most of my life. So I like to add a little bit of different stuff in everywhere. But yeah, I'd probably say like the typical workflow is, I'll sit down, I'll mess around on the keyboard, try to come up with some chords. And once I get the chords down, switch the instruments and get the sounds right that I want. And then go from there and start adding stuff. And sometimes I'll even make like a whole beat and then solo different tracks and try to find the right vibe and take a bunch of it out and start a new direction from that. So it really just depends.
Yeah. But okay, so tell us a little bit about, I'm sure a lot of our viewers today know who you are and where you're from, but tell us a little bit about where you grew up, where you reside now, and just give us the little full backstory. Sure.
Yeah. So I lived most of my life I guess half of my life now, in Springfield, Illinois. It's about 4 hours south of Chicago. That's where I started working on music. Started playing violin at age 4, and I always kind of knew I wanted to do music, and I was heavy in the classical route. So I applied to music school for college and went to New England Conservatory for my undergrad as a violin performance major. And then once I finished there, I did my master's at University of Michigan, violin performance there as well. And now I live in Chicago. I moved up north to Evanston. It's like a suburb north of Chicago. In high school to study violin, because where I was living before, there weren't that many people doing what I was doing and trying to pursue a music career. So I moved up here to just be around more people that were doing similar things to me, and it is being around people, you learn things from your peers, and it's like a friendly competition and all that. So yeah, that's kind of.
I feel like Chicago is such a special place, man. Like every time I go there, I get hit in the face with so many different flavors. You know what I mean? Like so many different type of people. The music is so prevalent. And then also I feel like the Midwest in general, like Chicago, Detroit, is so like micro influenced by all the other coasts, but like bring together, roll it up. Like there's sometimes I listen to some like Chicago rappers, I'm like, yo, he's got to be from the West Coast. You know what I mean? Or he's got to be from down south, or what the hell? Like I don't get it. But they bring their own, they bring their own flavor to the table. And what do you think is like, has that kind of played an impact role in your life, being able to kind of just gravitate to different styles of music, different from different territories, and apply that to what you're doing?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Like I spent a lot of time on the East Coast in school, and like everyone from Boston and New York, like it's an East Coast identity, right? Where it's like you can tell someone from the East Coast right away, right? Yeah. And same with the West Coast. And you're right, like Chicago does have like all sides of the spectrum, you know what I mean? Like all sorts of different things going on. And I think it does play an influence in the music you make, because you know what I mean? Like we have drill, we have like super artsy soul type of conscious hip hop here. We have like there's all sorts of stuff going on, right? So it definitely does play a role in like growing up, you listening to all these different things coming at you from different angles, and you just
one of my favorite artists ever is from Chicago, and it's not the artist that you guys are thinking of. It's not the artist you guys are thinking of. I'm a huge Lupe Fiasco fan.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Lupe is something else. Still is though. Still is.
Yeah. No, growing up, like Lupe, Kanye, Common, like those were huge influences in like what I listened to growing up, like in middle school and stuff. So for sure.
Hell yeah. All right. So Big Jeezy, aka
you can just call me three. You can just call me three.
So, well, tell me a little bit, man. I mean, like, I wish Jeezy would have came on, because Paris is such a unique place too. And if you haven't been to Paris, man, that place is also like a multicultural melting pot of people from all throughout North Africa, Middle East, other parts of Europe. Paris is such a like international city, and I would have loved to like really dig in on his influences from a music perspective too. So tell us what you can about Big Jeezy, and then we'll go from there.
Look, you and me both. I wish he would have came on here, but he just can't speak English. Like he can't like actually pronounce or understand.
I would have taught him real quick.
he can type English, but he can't exactly hear it. So.
No, it's all good. It's like, and it's crazy. We do have some Frenchmen on the team too. We would have could have got his ass.
Call him up, like, hey,
but go ahead.
But basically, Big Jeezy resides in Paris. That's where he grew up. I can't really tell you much about what his influences or whatnot. I just know he loves music. When it comes to, he loves like making hard rap, but he also loves switching up, doing R&B, love making pop. He's a huge lover of music, and that's one reason why we gravitated to each other. You're one of his
the artist that uses beats. So you're someone that is actually collaborating with him, not just on the production side, or on the on the artist side.
On the art, I mean, like I produce as well, but I don't focus on it as much as P-Dub or Big Jeezy by any means. So I let him have that. Now me and him are collaborators on a level of like, he makes beats and I do the hooks over them. So we sell that. Yep. Because that was another question. That's another question. So where are you based out of? I'm based out of Right now, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, but I come from the Midwest. I'm from Indiana, Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Okay. So I must have heard you this week on some of those tracks with hooks, because that shit is fire, man.
Thank you.
That shit was amazing. I was going to ask him, it's like, what did, part of collaborating with, with artists like you, the songwriters like you that can, put together hooks that are, man, like super catchy, super relevant, super like today, right now. And, like other artists, are doing that. Like what made you guys get together to start, collabing on BeatStars and, selling hooks?
Basically, Big Jeezy found me on SoundCloud. I was originally dropping on SoundCloud strictly, and he hit me and was like, "Hey, bro, I want to work with you." And like originally we was just doing songs together, but then he was like, "Bro," he came with a money opportunity. He's like, "Hey, if we make beats and add hooks to them, we can like get rich." I was like, "Sure, let's do it." And then the first beat we put out didn't do that well, but that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
The next one we put out, it was called Dogs. It went really well, and we got on BeatStars, and it was just like, hey, this actually works. It actually works.
Yeah. There's been so many successful, combinations of recording artists doing hooks on tracks. Even going back to like my boy Showdown from Rocket Pro, who would do his own hooks on his own beats, and then of course, like, I mean, if you haven't heard of Brianna Marin over the last like few years, she's been, killing everyone's beats with hooks. And then now I'm, seeing even like young talent like Kyla Imani that's on BeatStars selling hooks. I mean, it's cool, man. It's cool to like give artists kind of like an introductory vision to the song, right? Kind of just giving them the landscape. And I feel like a lot of, it's crazy, PW, you probably know this too. Like sometimes the way you label your beat, the way you title your beat is the subject matter of the artist's song a lot of times, right? So, they'll get inspired by the title of your beat. And then with you three, it's like, yo, I'm giving you more than just the title. I'm going to give you a full concept here. If you don't know how to make a hook, I got you, right? Yep. And you're really providing that service and that value. Yeah, really, really cool to see more of that happening, and listening to like Big Jeezy's beats, man, I could tell he's very diverse too. Mm-hmm. Now, when you said the first hook didn't work out, right, and maybe the second one and the third one did a lot better, did you start to like understand, okay, maybe I need to not tell the whole story and keep it kind of open-ended in a sense, right? When you're doing these hooks, right? So I bet the more open-ended and just like melodic and simple the hooks you did probably performed a lot better.
Yeah, like, okay, the first hook we did, it was called Stingy. It was with Big Jeezy, and I think the other guy was named, if I'm correct, I don't want to mess his name up, I think it was Mubs Beats.
Mubs, okay,
and it did good with views, but I didn't really see any sales like that from it. So I was like, it's cool. We're gonna try again. I like Big Jeezy a lot when it comes to the music. So we was like, I'm gonna keep working with you. Plus we kept working, we were collaborators anyway. So it all just helped out. But when I started making more simple hooks, just more melodic, more catchy, that's when it started to pop. It started to stick a little bit more.
Cool, man. So tell us a little bit about you then, man. Tell us a little bit about like how did you get going writing music and started writing songs?
Basically, I grew up in a musical family. My mom was a singer in church. My dad was a singer in church. My brother was a hip hop dancer, but he was also a rapper, singer. He basically was very versatile. My other brother could not rap, but he tried. Hey,
shout out to bro.
And so I kind of just fell into it like that. I originally just wanted to be a dancer. Then my mom found out I could sing. She put me in church choir. I got into show choir, got into a dance group. And then the middle school I went to actually had a recording studio in it. So I started writing music like that.
Dope. So, I mean, you really didn't have a choice.
No,
really didn't.
Not at all.
It's same thing for you, Peter. Like, man, 4 years old, going towards the path of like, becoming this classically trained musician and then moving around to make sure you keep expanding on that skill and getting better at it. Go into the conservatory. Now, a lot of folks, you know, especially in the beat making community, right? When you think about education, beat making education and production education, that's not really not that really big of a thing, you know, other than, you know, YouTube tutorials, right? YouTube tutorials, or there are some schools that have very small music production kind of focuses, you know, but never like a real like focus from end to end production, including actual musicianship, you know. Do you feel like that you know, going towards mastering an instrument first is what gave you kind of like the superpower to accelerate to this digital world a lot quicker? You feel like that helped?
It's hard to say. Yeah, like it definitely helps in a lot of ways, and also I feel like helped me back in a lot of ways because, for example, like just in the.
I don't want to cut you off. And this is just my experience with people that play instruments. A lot of times they do not know how to arrange fucking drums, right? They suck at arranging drums. They really suck. But man, melodies and you know, creating loops, like, you know, amazing, right? So your biggest challenge was probably the drums, right?
Yeah, if you heard my drums when I first started making beats, you'd laugh your ass off. Like that shit was so whack. And then also too, like coming from a classical background, I was trying to just add as much shit as possible in the beat, being like, oh, I just gotta throw everything in here and make it like as complex as possible and it'll be good. Like that's not the case. Like it took me a long time to like learn simplicity is really like the art of it, you know? But I will say, like, when it comes to like knowing key signatures and theory and stuff like that, it helps a lot because, you know, like I can't tell you how many songs I've like heard or mixed and like the auto tune's in the wrong key or something. It's just like a quick fix like that that'll make it sound way better. But and also with loops, you know, it helps knowing chords and chord progressions and things like that. But at the same time, it's like that's not the secret either. You know what I mean? Like there is an intuitiveness to it that like you kind of really have to learn by doing it. And I learned on YouTube because I didn't know there were programs to like go into for production. Now they have, you know, Berkeley has a great program for music production and stuff like that. But when I was coming up playing violin, I just wasn't aware of all that type of stuff. So
yeah. But man, I'm an audio guy. I'm dissecting shit all the time, right? I'm just like dissecting stuff, and there's just a little bit. Sometimes it's the most simple complexity, a simple complexity that a person that knows how to play an instrument can add to a beat, even though it's not adding too much. It's not adding too much, but there's like a simple complexity that takes it emotionally
to the next level.
To like those like 4 bars, like you know what I'm saying? Those 4 bars needed to go somewhere else just for those 4 bars, like emotionally to build up something that you guys can do. That I've noticed that a lot of you know, just, you know, producers that resort to, you know, using loops or using you know, just standard stuff that's in the you know, in the DAW, they can't take it there. They can't take it there. And those are the tracks that I see most of the time that end up selling like, you know, like crazy. Like you make, like, from the average person, the average person that's listening to the beat may not hear that one extra sound after a 4-bar, you know, loop, one extra sound that takes it. Maybe it's an octave, maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down, right, on the melody. And people just like, you know, sometimes the normal ear doesn't hear that, but you have the capability of hearing that. And then 3, for you as a songwriter, you're hearing that because you're especially on the hook, right? Especially on the hook. Do you feel like, I mean, I don't know, I'm just kind of having an open convo here, you know what I'm saying? I'm just kind of like, you know, just sharing my experiences. You guys can agree, not agree, it doesn't really matter. But you know, I think I just want to get people thinking sometimes,
right?
You know, just get people thinking that, you know, the more and more we live in this kind of world of like, I got to capture your attention right away on a song, and I have to keep your attention on over the course of the song. So I'm noticing like 4 or 5 years ago, And you're talking about like trap rappers, right? 4 or 5 years ago, there was a lot of mumbling going on.
Oh my gosh. Yep.
Didn't understand shit. But
Mhm.
now the trap rap has kind of evolved, and you're seeing like trap rappers actually understand like arrangement of production, understand arrangement, and start to use their voice every 4
True.
bars to change a flow, every 4 bars,
Mhm.
and add this or add a dope ass transition from an ad lib or something, and then jump into the next 4 bars, do something different, right? You're seeing that the artists are getting smarter with their songwriting abilities, and I want to see more. I want to see more and more of our producers adopt that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see more and more of our producers, because going back to like titling your beat, going back to, adding a hook, you guys are helping these guys build the landscape for these songs. And the easier you make it for them, and if you approach it as a songwriter when you're making these beats and beats with hooks, you're going to see a lot more high quality, higher probability of success tracks.
Yeah. Going off of that, actually, I wanted to say, I think having a musical background and going to school helps with like helping the track move, like you're saying. Like a lot of times you hear beats and it's just a loop, like a 4-bar loop, the entire beat. But being able to just add a melody here too, like you said, to give it that movement and not get bored of the track does help a lot.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Sure.
I'm seeing that. It's weird. It's like a simple, it's like simple but complex. I can't. That doesn't make any sense, right? But but you guys understand what I'm talking about. You guys
understand though. It makes sense to us. We understand.
Yeah. So 3. I mean, Jeezy. I don't know if he shared with you kind of like regarding, his affiliation with the new BeatStars Publishing Company. And I don't know if he shared with you kind of like what he's what are his goals within that, having kind of like a publishing administration deal to help himself collect on all these licenses that are selling online and all these placements and stuff like that. Did he share with you anything about like taking this part of career to the, or just adding on to his current
he shared a little bit. He was more so like he enjoys it because, for one, it increases the chance of potentially getting placements. When you have a good publishing company behind you that has connects and so on and so forth, they can get you in front of the people you need to get in front of to make it go to the next level. So they apparently, he said he got in contact with Andre Drummond through the publishing deal.
Cool.
Yeah, he plays for the
basketball player, the Pistons.
Yeah.
Man, there's so many athletes that are rappers out there. I love them.
Literally, his music hard though. I listen to something. I'm like, okay, go crazy. He actually decent. He decent.
I don't know, man. I think the best ball player rapper right now has got to be Dame Dollar.
No, he's fire.
Yeah, he's got volume.
Yeah, Dame can spit. They can spit. Pete up. So what for you, man, like what are some of your goals? Like now that you're represented by a publisher, what's your, I mean, listen, digital online collaboration is not going anywhere, right? This is if anything, that's the new placement, right? The new placement is getting your beat leased and having it blow up on TikTok. We see it every single day. We see it every single day on BeatStars. We're going on the trending charts on TikTok, and it's a BeatStars beat that some random like artist from somewhere discovered and became viral. It's happening every single day, and I'm seeing all the labels swarming these artists. And so now when you think about like the traditional way of like getting a placement, I mean, you've been used to getting placements your whole career by licensing online, you know what I'm saying? Like with these artists, because you just never know. You feel like selling online is kind of like the way to kind of, get a warm lead, right? Get a warm lead before an artist kind of like takes off into, a different part of their career. How are you cultivating those relationships with the artists that are licensing your beats? And how are you like doing, what are you doing to stay in contact with them and building with them and being of service to them? So when it comes time to one of these artists like taken off, you know, they've had a great experience with you. So what are you doing to harness that great relationship?
It's crazy that you mentioned that because like starting out beat making, everyone wants to like be around who's already popping, right? Like everyone's like, oh, we got to save this beat for this person, right? And it took it took a lot of mistakes to realize that I was doing it completely backwards. Like I think almost every placement I've had is from a beat someone's found on BeatStars or YouTube, you know. And a lot of times as artists, it's their first song before they blow up. Like for example, I had a Roddy Ricch placement, and it was his first song he ever put on YouTube. And that specific instance, I remember seeing the track, and it had like 2,000 views. And I remember hearing it and being like, "Oh, this is a cool song," you know, like he killed it. And I didn't reach out, you know, because I was just like, "Oh, this is dope," like whatever. And then, you know, year, 2 years later, when Die Young comes out, he starts blowing up, and then, you know, you're trying to get back at the artist. It's already too late, blah blah blah. And so a couple of those instances really really taught me to be more on the lookout for these upcoming artists and build relationships. And because it's more fun to get placements that way anyway. When you know the artist and you're cool with them and you have a relationship, it's more fun and it feels better when a track comes out. And so things I do are you know, you can type in like produced by your producer name and see what people are putting out on SoundCloud or YouTube. And you can reach out to these people and really just like, I just like to get a dialogue started. And if I really fuck with their music, I'll just send them ideas I've started, see what they think, ask them to send hooks back. Even sometimes like try to send stuff out for placements with these artists if they want to write at all. And yeah, just really awesome. Just the contact is the most important thing, you know.
Definitely.
And just making that relationship happen.
Because like you think about it, those bigger artists are getting bombarded with beats. You know what I mean? They're getting bombarded in every single direction from every single label, publisher. You know, it's the same thing like for sync licensing. You know, if there's a hot TV show that everyone's trying to get their music on, you know how many different agencies and sync companies are like, you know, trying to also get in the door. When Roddy Ricch, when he wasn't Roddy Ricch yet, licensing beats from you, you know, was the guy you should have been focusing on.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? That was, you know, so it's like, it's crazy. Like that, you know, the people that are in your actual inbox, the people that are interested in your music, the people that are already engaging with your music, are the future placement. It's the future placement. And it feels so much sweeter because you've actually like helped that artist from the beginning stages of their career. And then they're more, you know, I would say they're more, you know, likely to like include you into more situations that they get into, because they'll never forget that, oh wow, yeah, me and P-Dub did this a long time ago. That was one of my first moments. You know, these artists artists remember all their moments. You know what I mean? They remember every song they put out. They remember when they did it, who produced it. It's part of their story. And so it's just a much healthier relationship when you're part of that story way more early on than, you know, trying to get a placement on Drake or whatever it is. Like, I mean, it's great, you know, it's awesome, but Drake will forget about your ass the next day. So, you know, he's on to the next sound, you know, he's on to the next sound. He's on to the next album. He's on to the next kind of like situation. So I'm glad to hear that you've already kind of, it's not that, you know, instant success, you know, it's not like that instant, just like pitch, try to get a placement. It's like, oh wait, hold on. I did that 3 years ago for this guy. I did, you know, I remember this artist, you know, and now you've got, you know, a major artist on one of your tracks that you need to go out and properly collect royalties on across the world, you know, and that's where BeatStars kind of comes in to help with the registration and administering all of those royalties back to you. Have you got a taste of, and I don't know if a lot of people even know what this is, but BeatStars has developed some technology to really, you know, scan for your copyrights all across like the social web and across, you know, all the different social platforms like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. Have you got any reports from us yet from some of your music that,
I haven't yet, but I'm curious. I'm mad curious.
Okay. Because
I've always wondered about that.
Yeah, that's the future. You know, that's the future Roddy Ricch. That's the future Tory Lanez. That's the future, like all the, you know, all of those songs that we're going to be able to track for you guys that we're working on. You know, is is going to be exciting. It's in private beta for our publishing clients. We're doing it kind of for you guys, and I'm sure our team has already scanned some stuff for you. They'll be reporting back to you, but it'll be it'll be available to everyone on BeatStars soon. But it's crucial because we live in this like global like collaborative world, right? And then you're doing hooks, you're doing tracks with Jeezy, and you're probably hearing some of your music being rapped on or sung on by artists in Vietnam or, Australia and like all these other places. And you're like, oh, okay, hold on. This is not just an American thing, right? This is not just an American thing. I need to make sure that I know who's using my music around the world. And it's kind of difficult to keep track, once it leaves, once it leaves your store. So we're trying to solve that.
Exactly. For sure.
How does that feel, man? When you like, when you're like, oh shit, I just got a sale in like New Zealand, all right? Or like, how does that tell me, what's the feeling like?
Honestly, it lets you know your music is bigger than you. It's like, wow, I started here and I'm out international. I got friends in Germany, New Zealand. I got friends in Paris. Like it's amazing. Or I got somebody that enjoys my music in a totally different continent. It's crazy. It's a crazy feeling. It kind of can bring tears to your eyes if you let it.
Yeah. For sure. Sure. It's beautiful.
Yeah, for sure.
Because when you
all
right. Oh no.
that's not
you gotta
good.
moderate it now. All
right, so basically,
I got booted.
You got booted.
But I was just saying, like it brings it back kind of like, it humanizes it, humanizes it. It's not just that digital transaction. Like, oh shit, man, I'm really helping someone express themselves. I'm really helping someone tell their story. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I've heard some great music over hooks that have been sold or beats that have been sold by Big Jeezy. I've heard some great music, so it's definitely dope.
There's something I want to Big Jeezy probably don't even know, but Paris is from a BeatStars perspective, from an artist perspective, is the largest city that collaborates and visits BeatStars. So yeah, it's crazy market for hip hop, especially hip hop in Paris. Hip hop is crazy out there.
Hey.
Hip hop's crazy out there. So shout out to Paris, man.
I want to go.
Hell yeah! Have you ever been?
I have not been. I was supposed to go some years ago, but that didn't happen, and we're not gonna talk about
it. You know what's dope about Paris? It's this big ass city. It's so massive, and you could literally like it's all like one level, so it's like flat, so you can just like walk everywhere. But their transportation system is so crazy. Like you can get anywhere in the underground metro to any part of the whole city, super quick. And it's a great place to just like adventure. There's something happening on every single block, every single corner. There's something going on because there's so many people there that literally like one. It's kind of like New York in a sense where it's like one block is like self-sustaining. Everything's there for you. Like you ain't got to travel nowhere. Like everything is just walking distance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's dope. And then the art and the social life is crazy there. Yeah. Architecture. Yeah, you guys got to go. There's this shout out to the Music Producer Convention. They have a yearly producer conference in Paris, and they have like showcases and collaborations every year. I think this year is canceled, but hopefully next year it'll be back on. But yeah, I mean, so how you guys holding up in this in this new normal that we're living in, man.
It's crazy.
It's nuts, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, P-Dub.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I've used the time to really get organized. Like, like little things like file organization. Like, I've been finding beats I forgot about for like 2 years and like ideas I forgot about for 2 years. Like, it's crazy how getting organized has helped my workflow so much over these last few months, that's the thing I've been doing, really, like just organizing and cooking up. But yeah, it's just, that's one thing I've just noticed. It's like, just even
So,
like making
so everything's not in the downloads folder anymore. Like you're
exactly. Exactly. Or even just like, you know, like I organize, it's crazy. I organize my iTunes. I have like all sorts of different folders going on with like each individual, like, you know, things I'm sending out for placements, things I'm trying to upload to YouTube, like loops, blah, blah, blah. And just having that organization, which I never really had to the extent I have it now, it's crazy how much that has helped like make things happen too, in addition to just like cooking up, you know?
I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Taking time to organize. Yeah. Mentally, it's been a challenge. I mean, for me, man, I can't lie. It's been, you know, it's been a fucking challenge. There's some days I'm good. Some days I'm not good. You know, it's just you know, I feel like we're in this, and you know, at the same time, you know, still so blessed and thankful for the position I'm in. But man, it's rough out there for so many people, and it's hard not to think about how this is affecting like the global community and what it's doing and how it's setting the whole world back maybe 10 years before we can recover back from this, you know? Yeah, it's crazy. It's hard to stay motivated too. It's hard to stay motivated. Like some weeks I'll be, you know, super creative and want to do some you know, some cool things. And some weeks it's just like, it's just not there.
Right.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
How do you guys fight through that?
With me personally, sometimes, you know, Big G send over beats, and sometimes the beats just at that instant, you know, like, okay, I'm motivated again. Or sometimes you just be sitting there and sometimes you just have like a epiphany. It's okay, well, I could try that. I never approached this from this angle. It's just sometimes you just got to keep trying. Sometimes you got to keep working or play a beat and just hum over it. Like, okay, I like that melody, and stick to it. So it's definitely different ways to go about it. But sometimes you get stuck. Like I literally just got out of a writer's block probably 2 days ago. So yeah.
Yeah, no.
But once you're in it, you're like, is this shit ever gonna end?
Oh, no, it literally lasted for about a month and a half. I'm sitting there like I tried when I tell you Big Jeezy probably sent me about 7-8 beats, and I'm sitting like, bro, I'm so sorry, I can't come up with nothing. So yeah.
Yeah. For me,
what do you do, P-Dub, to get you out of those slumps?
For me, like one big thing when I'm making beats is location plays such a big role. Like I like cooking up at my desk with like my monitors and stuff, but like honestly, most of the time I make beats, I'm like in coffee shops, or like when I was in school, I go to like the student center, or like sometimes I go, like we had a lake here, I go to the lake and just cook up. Like, so for me, like if I have writer's block or beat block, I'll just go to a different location and try to get like a different vibe, right? Also, like we were talking about earlier, I'll start on different, like sometimes I'll start with melodies. If I'm just tired of making melodies, like I'll just start with a drum loop or like something totally different than what I'm used to, just to like switch up the, you know, make it a little more random, switch up the whole process, and that helps a lot.
You know, I'm sure, you know, being able to like, you know, get on the keyboard and play all these chords, definitely, you know, understanding the actual tool, right, and where it can go, can, even if the melody is whack, you could still formulate something. Right, you could still formulate something.
The big thing for me, I just get like, you know, I think other producers probably understand this too, is like I just get tired of the shit I make. Like, you know, you just get unmotivated, like, man, all my shit sounding the same right now. So like another big thing for me is collaborating with other people. I love doing that, because it's like, you know, you might have an idea and you're like, damn, this isn't going anywhere, but then you send it to someone else and the homie sends it back, and it's like, you're like, oh shit, like this is, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
whole different perspective.
Whole new, exactly, whole new perspective, different ideas start coming. So that's huge.
I love that. And I love when I love like seeing other producers take you know, an original sample from someone like you, right? Original melody sample, and just kind of reinterpret the track. Do you find yourself stripping away some beats? You're like, you know what, maybe this beat doesn't, it's not really complete the whole way through. I'm not really feeling it, but man, this loop right here, this sample, this melody right here, I can send that to someone, you know?
It's crazy that you say that, because like the organization shit I was just talking about led to a lot of that. I was like, damn, all these old beats, like the drums sound like shit, but like that loop's kind of fire. And I would just exactly what you said, just strip it down, send it to someone, and then they create a whole new vibe off of it. So
man, one thing I can give you advice on: what's old to you is new to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear stories about loops that are resurfaced from 3 or 4 years ago, or a beat that was produced 3 or 4 years ago turning into a platinum song now on like TikTok or something. So what's old to you is new to me. So like all that stuff that you think, oh man, these are old loops, old melodies, all this stuff I'll never use again. Trust me, bro. You package that thing up. Anything original, you know what I'm saying? Like anything original that comes from your brain, that intellectual property, that it at the end of the day, you're already winning because it's original already. How other people interpret your original work, that's up to them. That's up to them. That has nothing to do with you. Just give them that stuff. So you know what I'm saying? Don't let those ideas ever kind of like don't suppress them for too long. You never know. You never know, man.
Right.
You just never know. Yeah. I mean, like there's still beats on BeatStars that were uploaded in 2016, 2017 that are still in the top 100 every year, the top 100 sellers every year. And good music's good music, man.
Right. Yeah. Like,
good music. That shit lives forever. There's no time limit on good music, man. And I hate when especially when you're putting together original shit. When you're putting together original shit, and same thing with lyrics. I'm sure like with lyrics, if you're touching on you're touching on like, topics that people can relate to, that shit lives forever. That doesn't die out.
It's funny that you said that because me and Big Jeezy made a hook, a beat plus hook called Ride or Die about 2 years ago. And a guy named Marmar Oso, he signed to Empire. He did a song with Eric Bellinger called Slide, and I got writer's credits and publishing off of it because they used it. So 2 years ago, I'm like, all right, this hook ain't going nowhere. Next thing I know, they wanted it. I'm like, what in the world? What the hell?
Telling you, man.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man.
Right.
This is also like, even though this is called The Deal and you're talking about publishing, but at the end of the day, it all starts with the collaboration. You know what I mean? It all starts with collaboration. There is no publishing to collect unless there is a song being made. And most of the time, those songs are happening on your guys' websites, on BeatStars, from YouTube, wherever these like beats are being discovered. And the game is so full of like, the prioritization of importance of marketing is becoming so important, man. It's so important because if you can hack your way into getting in front of more people, a more like direct audience of the type of people that are going to love your music, the more likelihood you're going to have more things to publish and more things to collect on, right? So I want to hear from you guys. What is one thing that you would say that, man, you could just tell a young producer, just make sure, and even if it's just the creative part, even if it's just like, focus on developing your craft and your skill, what is the one thing you feel like was the most important factor for your guys' success right now? P-Dub, I'll start with you.
I'll start. Yeah. I'd say trying to find a sound was super important because I feel like, especially nowadays, like there's so many more lanes, there's so many more producers, so many more artists. Like if you make something that anyone else can make, then someone can just go to the next person and get it made, right? But if you're bringing something to the table that only you can do and a sound that only you can really make, then like they need you. You know what I mean? They can't get it from someone else, and I think that's huge. I'm still trying to like find exactly that too, but I feel like heading in that direction was super big for me, just to like really like not, I mean, obviously you want to be up on what the trends are and like stay, cognizant of like what's happening. But at the same time, like it's important to really find your sound too.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Jeezy told me, he said, I got some tips for new producers. He said, create a different type of content to stand out in an oversaturated market. He's like, and also stay consistent without dropping daily. I was like, those are good points. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, the consistency is key. And in anything, any profession, it doesn't matter what it is. Like being consistent is key. But a lot of people get so, I don't know. I feel like a lot of, especially producers, they put so much damn pressure on themselves, man. You know, they put so much damn pressure on themselves to be like consistently great on every single track. And I understand, like, yeah, of course, you want to push yourself. You know, you want to push yourself to be, you know, you want to drop great stuff all the time, you know. But I've also seen, you know, some producers, they'll tell me, oh, this is their hottest track. This is the best track that they've ever produced. And that'll be like the lowest selling beat in their catalog. And there's, and I'm sure 3, you're one of those guys. You're probably telling Jeezy, like, and he's telling you, you gotta work on this track. You're like, nah, man, that's not the one.
Yeah.
You know, that's not the one. And producers, honestly, I feel like are pretty bad judges of, you know, deciding like which track is going to be kind of like the one they need to be pushing, you know, almost every time. You producers, unless you are, you know, a really established songwriter, like you're just as passionate about writing songs and putting out commercial music, producers really can't be predicting which beat is the one. So when they put so much pressure on them, when they put so much pressure on themselves to release, you know, music, when in reality, the one that they're doubting the most is probably the one that's going to resonate the most with, you know. So how do you decide? How do you guys decide like what's good enough to go on your store or be pitched out, you know, for placement? Like how do you decide? Do you it is a gut feeling or what is it?
What you said is so true. Like I can't tell you how many times like a beat that I think is hot, like is the least selling beat on my store. And then it's always the beat where like you were going to throw it away or like whatever. And everyone fucks with that beat. So for me, like I've realized I can't judge it. Like I just if I make it, I put it up because you never know what's gonna happen. Like someone might hit you up and be like, you know, like this beat's gonna go to this artist or whatever. And so yeah, really like I just trust. Like as long as I've had to like trust that as long as I make it and put it up, like it's gonna be fine and someone's gonna find it eventually. You know.
With me, more so, I don't have a lot of people around me. I actually just moved to Atlanta, so I ain't got nobody here with me. But you know, I send stuff back and forth from Big Jeezy. He confirms I like that or not. And then I also have a lot of musical friends back in Indiana. I send music to, let them hear it, get their, you know, pick their brain on it. Like, that's fire. I'm like, all right, cool. So I know that people like it. And these aren't yes men. They'll tell me if something is trash. Make sure you find somebody who will not tell you it sounds good to try to be your friend, because that's not your friend. So I do that, and then I'm like, all right, well, people like it, so we're just gonna put it out. So that's usually how it ends up happening.
I mean, what I can say, and you guys could, you know, you probably agree with it too, is that, you know, you guys are not cooking up for one artist, you know. You're not cooking up for one artist. So you got to know that some music may not, you know, resonate with a certain demographic of people or a certain city or certain something. You can't just cook for one city. You know what I mean? Like there's someone somewhere that's going to vibe with one of those beats, you know, as long as I think if you guys put emphasis on the structure and arrangement, in the mix, of course, the things that you can really, really control, like the things you can really, really control, before it becomes like a creative session for writing. I think that's the stuff producers should be stressing out probably the most, right?
Another huge thing that I realized too is like, you know, you want to get the most views on your beat on YouTube or BeatStars or wherever, the most plays, but it only takes one person to fuck with it that makes the right song, and then it's out of here. You know what I mean? Like some of my like least viewed beats, you know, like have gone to certain people, and you know, I didn't think anything was going to happen with them because I was like, oh, no one likes this beat, not that many people like this beat. But then all it takes is one person to like it and buy it, you know, and you never know.
Exactly. There was a beat I found on TikTok, and it was shout out to the producer. His name is Pride, and the beat was used by like 2 million people on TikTok. It was used by 2 million people, but the producer had no clue. Producer had no clue. Like producer had no clue this challenge was going on with his beat, right? And it was going crazy. And that beat on his BeatStars wasn't the virality on TikTok wasn't translating into like sales on BeatStars because it was under a different naming convention. And the original producer, when you go on TikTok, you couldn't see his name. It was under just some random sound, right? It was like a random sound. Yeah, some random sound. But I happened to like discover it on accident, and I told we told the producer, and he was like, "Oh shit, okay, I gotta distribute this song now. This beat, right? That really is a song now because it's being commercially listened to by over 100 million times, and so now because it's been commercially delivered, and that beat has a ISRC and a UPC, TikTok. Now, when you click on that sound, it shows where the original beat came from and who the producer is, and you can and TikTok will put a link to like listen to it on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever. Now producers generally do not think about releasing their beats commercially, right? And they're like, they think about like Spotify and all that stuff. That's for the artists. That's for the artists. But the more and more with these social apps like Snapchat, TikTok, Triller, all of these like social video apps that are utilizing small pieces of beats for challenges or competitions or duets and all these kind of things. They're becoming more and more used commercially. And if you do not release these beats commercially, you're going to miss out on discovery, monetization. Now he's getting paid for all those, millions of plays, hopefully on TikTok. If there's more, if the challenge keeps going. But if he was ahead of it, right? If he was ahead of it and had it registered and had it distributed 2 months ago when the challenge first started, he would have gotten credited for those 150 million streams. So what are you like? I know and I have to bring this up. What are your guys' stance of making sure the beats that you release on BeatStars and YouTube are also being put out on Spotify and YouTube Content ID through BeatStars distribution or whatever distribution you use? Like what are you guys doing with that stuff? Because I think it's really important that you guys get your shit commercially distributed, even if no one's listening to it on Spotify, but you're giving yourself an edge if something does take off on Triller or TikTok or these places or YouTube even.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, I put all my beats through Content ID for sure. But what you're saying with the Spotify thing, that's something I've also started doing during quarantine. Is like I just noticed, especially with TikTok, like shout out the homie Kyle, you made that. He's a producer who has had a lot of beats on TikTok blow up and start dance trends. And so, I've been thinking the same thing. It's like, producers are artists now. You know what I mean? Like even if there's no vocals on the track, like a beat can blow up. And so, I'm definitely, I put my first thing on Spotify a couple of weeks ago, but I'm going to start uploading and just getting stuff up there because it's huge. It makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Basically, me and Big Jeezy haven't really been publishing any of them like on Spotify, iTunes, or nothing like that. We have gotten some registered through BMI and so on and so forth, but we should probably hop on that. I'm gonna talk.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you,
to him because we need that.
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. You just. I guarantee there's someone's using your shit on TikTok right now, and it's got 100,000 plays. You know what I'm saying? Like someone's using your guys' shit on these platforms. You just don't even know.
You're right.
T-Dub, like we were saying, let's go back to the publishing part. When you release on Spotify, you're the artist on the master side. And then you're the writer on the publishing side. So when you do release a beat, you're controlling both sides of the equation. You're controlling both sides of the equation. That one beat. Oh yeah. So like going back, like Savage Love, right? Savage Love by Jason Derulo. That started out with a random ass producer uploading the beat to TikTok before it was even a song, right? Like I don't know if you guys knew that, but before it was even a song, Josh, the producer, just uploaded a sound to his TikTok, and everyone did a dance to it. It was just the beat. It was just the beat. The majors heard about, oh shit, this beat has 1 billion views already on TikTok. We just need to add vocals to this bitch. We just need to add vocals. It's already a hit. It's already a hit.
No
right?
cap.
Wow.
So they acquired the beat, right? And they put it out commercially with Josh and Jason Derulo. And that song was probably the biggest song of the year almost. Like when you think about it on social media, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And same thing now what's happening with, you know, with Pride is that now we've got a bunch of majors now looking to acquire that beat that went viral because they have artists they want to put on it. They have artists they want to put on it because it's already a hit. So when people listen to it, like, yeah, I already know that. That's a TikTok beat.
Yep.
You know, that's a TikTok song. Yeah, I know that song.
They
You know,
do it instantly.
Exactly, man. Exactly. So yeah. I mean, the way that people are collaborating now, and hopefully within these social apps, you know, publishing will be a big part of it, you know, and writers will get paid for the stuff that's being used on these platforms. Eventually you would assume so, right? You would assume so, but I still believe, you know, don't sleep on commercially releasing your beats. Every time you upload a beat to BeatStars, you should be delivering that shit to all the streaming services, you know? And there doesn't need to be like a crazy campaign around it, right? Like a big release. It's just, just get it through commercially. Just get it there. You know what I mean? Get it everywhere, because you never know what's going to happen with that shit once someone starts rapping on it or starts stealing it, you know? There's a lot of stolen shit out there.
I love how you stuck it in there.
You guys dealt with a lot of, I mean, I'm sure you guys on YouTube, you know, those, I mean, it's probably, those beats have been ripped on YouTube a million.
Hundreds of times. Like, I can't even count how many, like, so many times.
I mean, okay, granted, as a songwriter, I gotta cut us some slack. Sometimes we strip the beat offline just to record and see how it sounds before we make that purchase.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because granted, I did make a song over P-Dub beat like 2-3 years ago. And I never published it though. So I was like,
no, it's all good. I know how it goes.
Yeah. You stole that shit. You better call him right now. collect on that license fee.
It never got released.
No, but it's true though. It's true, man. You got to get. That's what a lot of people do forget. You know, people do forget that for a recording artist, for a songwriter, it doesn't happen instantly. Sometimes it takes time to write a verse and a hook, and you come back to it next week and the week after, and there's a process. You know, on average, it takes about 30 to 45 days before a customer or songwriter on BeatStars listens to a beat until the point of transaction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so the first time someone listens to it, on average, it takes about 30 to 45 days before they make that purchase. And the reason is you can't write a song instantly, right? So sometimes giving them a low quality MP3 like that for a free download, even if it is like has a tag on it or whatever, it's just a good way to like build rapport with those artists. And then if you do it behind a kind of like a paywall in a sense where you're extracting an email address or a social follow, I would recommend an email address more so you can keep in touch directly with those, or a phone number, so you can keep in touch with those artists a lot more frequently. You know what I mean? But yeah. I mean, guys, we've been chopping it up for a whole hour. I think I've been talking too damn much. I got too excited. I haven't been on a live in a long time, so I'm like, oh shit. What is there anything else you guys kind of want to touch on that I didn't touch on?
I don't think so.
I ain't got you honestly hit it from all angles, bro.
Yep, facts.
What's exciting you guys? I mean, listen, COVID, people are still at home collaborating. I mean, I don't know how much longer people are going to run out of money to buy beats. I mean, it's, you know what I mean? Like, who knows what's going to happen next year. Right. So how are you guys thinking about the future? How are you guys kind of like diversifying things? Is it just all your eggs right now into like beat licensing and making music, or is there some things outside of music that you guys are trying to like dabble into a little bit too?
For me, I've been focusing on, I've been trying to songwrite for the majors right now. I got a few people in my connect list that I'm reaching out to. I'm still doing the beats on YouTube. I mean the beats and the hooks on YouTube with Big G. He literally just sent me a beat. I graphic design. I also mix. So I'm an engineer as well. And yeah, I
So
write
you're mixing your own vocals before you give it to them.
Mm-hmm. And also I songwrite for other people. So I don't want to say I have all my eggs in one basket, but they all in similar baskets. You know, they all are basically done online and stuff like that. But that's what I'm doing right now. So
cool, man. What about
you?
Pete?
For me, it's similar. You know, just sending stuff out for placements. Really been collaborating a lot lately. One thing for me that's kind of with COVID was I did a lot of like live performance stuff with violin with different orchestras. Super dead.
Super dead. Oh.
Super dead. But luckily, like, you know, people are adapting. I do a lot of like studio recording on violin too. And they've switched that to, instead of being in studio, like tracking a lot of remote recording, which I can do from home, which is nice.
Oh.
So that's been coming through. And then, you know, just trying to learn new skills. I've been trying to get my like video knowledge up too. Like I got a camera and been trying to just like learn. And
yeah.
Same with graphic design stuff, just like the basics. I think it's important for everyone to be able to like do a lot of different things, especially like in these times, you know. So
you know what I did the other day?
What'd you do?
I was working on a track. I'm an executive producer a little bit. I'm a little executive producer. I was working on a track, and I hired a darbuka player, a drum. It's a Middle Eastern drum, a Middle Eastern drum from a player in the Middle East. And I found him on Instagram, and I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy on this drum, right? I hit him up on Instagram, and I paid him $100. I was like, yo, I need you to add your flavor to this track. Do something with it. Yeah, do something with it. And I might not use all of it. You know, we might not use all of it, but we'll grab a couple pieces. But that was fun as hell, because you said, like, you know, it's like bringing a whole different perspective to a track that you're like, wow, this was just a boring ass boom bap beat, and now it's got some culture to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now it's got a different swing to it too. You know?
For sure.
So are you doing a lot of that, Pia? Like, are you feeling like you're adding to a lot of these tracks, like these virtual sessions, like, you know, you're going in just laser focused on just this one instrument, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly like I play with a group here called the Matt Jones Orchestra in Chicago, and that's exactly what it is. It's like it's records where, you know, the record's basically complete for an artist, and they just want to add that little bit of extra something. And so, like, for example, one of the albums we recorded during quarantine was for John Legend's album he dropped in June. And so, yeah, it's like they sent the music over, the charts, and like it was all just string orchestra, and we just added that last little bit of spice, you know.
Hell yeah,
that's dope.
And you can like barely hear it in the track, right?
It don't
like,
matter.
It
don't matter.
But, like, it's there, you know, and
but
it's like
there, exactly.
It adds something.
Trust me, the recording artist and the producer knows it's there. You know what I mean? Maybe the end listener doesn't know, but without it, I bet you would bug the shit out of the recording artist and the producer. Guaranteed. Yeah. Because sometimes it's the most subtle. It's the most subtle things, you know? Do you guys do a lot? I mean, from a production standpoint, do you outsource other musicians too, to add stuff to your tracks? 3? I mean, you're not really doing the beats much, right? So it's, you know, I wonder if Jeezy does that. I wonder if Jeezy's like, you know, bringing on other original music creators to bring.
He does sometimes. Sometimes we all collaborate like that. Like he'll work with another producer, and they'll send me a beat, and then we do it that way. But it's usually just him, and it's usually just me. Like I don't really incorporate many people. Sometimes I might call and get somebody's ear, like, how does this sound? Or should I approach this a different way? I don't do it often, but when I do, it definitely helps. So I do it sometimes from time to time. We don't do it too often though.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Pete? For some of your beats, do you ever bring any third-party kind of musicians into your stuff?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for guitar, and like I play a little. I'm trying to learn right now. Like I can like play a chord and then like figure out the next chord 5 minutes later and then play that. But I can't, you know. So yeah, there's a few different people. I'll like send them stuff and be like, "Yo, could you just like add something on here just to give it that extra flavor?" Mm-hmm. And actually, I have a lot of homies I went to school with in a conservatory, and like I don't know why we didn't think of this when we were all in the same dorm and shit. But like I started hitting them up. One of them was a French horn player. One of them plays trumpet, and
Nice.
just sending stuff, seeing what they add. You just never know where it could take it. So,
Hell
and they're
yeah.
down. So, I mean, why not?
Hell yeah, hell yeah,
you
man.
brought something to my attention. I got a song called Joyride, and it sounds so fire. But I needed a. If you listen to Usher, I think it's like You Got It Bad. He got a guitar at the end. I was like, I need some electric guitar. I sent it off to this producer named Freak Van Workham. And I was like,
oh, he's dope.
Shout out Freak, yeah.
He's fire. I was like, hey, add a guitar, please. I love you.
Yeah,
and he
please.
blessed it with some fire. So.
And it's easy for them. That's what they do. That's what they do. You just kind of work on people's strengths. And yeah, P-Dub, do you have a loop pack or anything, a sound kit that you've ever released? Have you ever released anything?
Yeah, coming soon though.
Oh, you better hurry up. Stop sleeping on that.
I've been slacking.
You are slacking. Yo, that's the cheat code. That's like you can be feeding everybody.
I know. I've been slacking. I have no excuse.
Hell no. I'm coming over there. I'm coming to Chicago. Fuck that. I'm gonna sit in on these sessions and make you play these loops. All right, fellas. Well, listen, man, it was really fun talking to you guys, man, and it brought a lot of light to my day in this crazy time. I appreciate you guys taking the time to talk with me, share your stories. Tell Big Jeezy we say what's up.
I got you for sure. He probably watching, honestly.
Shout out to Big Jeezy. His beats are amazing. So happy to have him, and part of our part of the community, as well as you, P-Dub. Where can the people find you guys that want to get in touch with you?
You can find me on Instagram at pdubcooking, and my email is pdubtheproducer@gmail.com, and those are the two places you can get to me.
Cool. The BeatStars team was on it. They posted something.
Oh wow,
dope.
Yeah.
That's lit. Well, my name is in there, so I was know.
Yeah, add yours.
You can find me on Instagram on under 3am260. 3am260. Also, my email is 3am260@gmail.
So
P-Dub, we need to get some work in because, like I said, I told you I ripped one of your beats off YouTube. Never published it. Like a few years ago.
No, hit me up.
I got you. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna follow you right now.
Let's get it.
Wait, Three. Are you only exclusively doing hooks for Jeezy, or you open to working with a bunch of other producers too?
I'm open to working with any and everybody.
Okay, I need something.
I
I need some of that too.
I need it.
I got
All right, fellas. Have a good night. Appreciate you guys. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having us, man. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, man.
Okay, guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.